200, Corelli just behind them, then Lightyear and Hayden. Bump and Run hits the front. Corelli tries to get through. It looks for a break. It's through now. Bump and Run, the leader from Corelli, Pirates Yarn. Bump and Run, too classy for them. Bump and Run won it. Corelli second, Pirates Yarn third, Lightyear fourth. And then came Hayden, and last to finish, King of Atlantis. Bump and Run, too good. Number 2, Bump and Run at 350 and 180. Corelli, who started favourite on the tote in the end, has finished second, possibly on the outside of Pirates Yarn. They've hit it for a photo for the miners. 1:23.8 the race time.
OK, Matt, thank you. And young Luke Price on the winner there. Bump and Run, he's having a great trot at the moment. Still no word on the double protest after the WS Cox Plate. Stewards deliberating for a long time. Now, Moonee Valley Race 8, you've got the amended start times. The next race, the Swept Stakes, goes back to 4:16. The race after will be at 2 minutes after 5, and they hope to be back on time by the last at 5:30. Here's an update on the Sweps, formerly the Moya Stakes. Bomber Bill is at 8.60, Keeper is at 4.50, Regal Shot 6.60, Little Dozer $9.20. Over the page to Mystagic 5.40 and New Key at 6.40. What a day. A sensational Cox Plate with a lot of interference in the closing stages, resulting in a double protest. Second against first, alleged interference last 150. I beg your pardon. Third against second and first, alleged interference last 150. And second against first, alleged interference last 100 metres. And the stewards have had a big job sorting out all of the evidence, with everybody having their say, jockeys and trainers. Now, Doomben Race 7. 9.60 Yallar Stinger, 3.40 Aggravation, 5.30 Great Crusader, 4.50 for Clay Shaker, $9.30 for Huge Year. $12 Telson, 36 for Rather Proud. Race 7 at Rose Hill now, the Sky ratings. Words of Magic 100, Marwin Gold 93, Magic Heights 87, Newington Style 83. Marwin Gold at 9.30. Number 2, Utrillo 5.50, Words of Magic 2.90, 16 Please Charge, 35 Festive Night, 6.10 Magic Heights, 9.40 Newington Style, 8.40 for Newcastle Night. Tie Win at 40, War 34 and Reef King 83. Still no word from Moonee Valley. It's nail-biting stuff. OK, to Doomben live, and here's Larry Olsen.
Yeah, thanks, John.
John, we've seen the replay head on a number of times. Each time it's gone up on screen, there's been cheers from the crowd. It's still a moment of anticipation. The experts are starting to lean the fact that Northerly should retain the race, but the real experts are still in the stewards' room deliberating. So it's a long deliberation. The race was run, what is it now, 45 minutes ago. The stewards' hearing has been going for the best part of half an hour. It's a very long protest. 3 protests in all, and well, we still don't know whether we'll be able to get away for the next race at its second amended time of 4:25. So it's very tense, the situation here at the Valley.
Right, Greg, thanks for that. And it's always a shame to see a major race like this marred by a protest hearing. And as Greg said, in this case, there are 3 individual protests. About steward Des Gleeson.
Viscount did come out slightly away from Sunline, but was shifting out, approaching the 100 metres, and made contact with Northerly, which was shifting in. Northerly and Sunline then shifted further and contributed to Viscount being hampered. And whilst interference did occur, the stewards can't be satisfied that the result of the race was affected in respect of the protest Viscount against Northerly. With the objection against Sunline by Viscount, The stewards believe that Northerly, by shifting in, did make a significant contribution to that interference, and therefore all objections are therefore dismissed and the placings stand. Thank you. We'll see all your items before you leave.
Well, footage there, courtesy Channel 9. Our thanks to TCN, who are mounting a big coverage today at Moonee Valley. Well, there it is, all protests dismissed, and a great feeling of relief comes across connections of Northerly. You can see the relief on Damien Oliver's face, and Fred Kersley grinning like a split watermelon. And why wouldn't he be? What a horse. It's just a pity that he's got this habit of wanting to roll in under pressure. It costs him half a length every time he does it, and it's to be hoped that he can break that habit one day, although it seems to be pretty well set in concrete with him. All protests at Moonee Valley have been dismissed after a sensational W.S. Cox plate. Alan, a protest always takes the gloss off these big Group 1 races.
Yeah, they do, John. We saw that in the Caulfield Cup last week. But I think the most important thing is that the correct decision, I think, was reached. I mean, everyone's got their own opinion. Those two protests being dismissed, I think if I was Des Gleeson, that's what I would have arrived at. And if I was Des Gleeson last week, I would have arrived at the same decision with Ethereal and Sky Heights. It does take the gloss off it, but there's so much money at stake. You know, there's so much money. If there is a touch or a brush, I guess the jockeys and the connections are entitled to have a go. But I think the most important thing is that the correct decisions are reached, and I'm sure, that's only my opinion for what it's worth, some people will disagree. I think Des Gleeson and his panel got it right today with the two dismissals, and they certainly had it right last week, I'm sure, in the Caulfield Cup. And I think that at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing, that they get the decisions right, and sometimes it's very difficult. There must have been, with the delay that was there must have been some doubt. I think the delay would have been more over the Viscount against Sunline. I don't think Northerly was ever going to lose the race. I'm sure he was going to win. And I think probably the biggest delay was whether Viscount could have got a protest over Sunline. But in the end, the stewards dismissed them both. And I think at the end of the day, they got it right. Northerly, eh?
Claren Vale continued his winning trot and made it 4 in a row by taking the previous. Jamie Innes for Stephen Hill, beating numbers 1 Hilsenborg, 3 Parhelia and 11 fourth. Now Newcastle Knight enters the stalls. Up comes Tywin. And Huey Bowman, who resumed race riding at Gosford on Wednesday after a 2-month layoff with a fractured kneecap. And then, of course, he booted home Descendant on Thursday night at Canterbury. Rides the favourite for Tim Martin here, Words of Magic, and all is in readiness for the Perrier handicap field to be dispatched out of the 1100 machine. Racing this time, he was just a little bit slowly away, Words of Magic, and actually the first out, Magic Heights, headed by Marwin Gold, and Bowman's going to persevere for the lead on Words of Magic, and the favourite is going up very quickly, and at the end of 350, Words of Magic getting across to lead Tywin Utrillo third from Marwin Gold, then War a length, Newington Style, Magic Heights drifting back a little, followed by Newcastle Knight, Reef King, Please Charge and Festive Night. They reach the 600, Words of Magic given a spell a length and a half Utrillo. It's inside as Tywin, fourth Marwin Gold, War's fifth and 2 lengths Newington Style, Magic Heights, Newcastle Knight, Please Charge, Festive Night, and last is Reef King straightening up. Words of Magic the leader, a length and a half on Tywin. Marwin Gold over on the rails, third from War, Magic Heights and Newcastle Knight as they come down to the 200 marker, and Bowman shakes up Words of Magic. Magic Heights on the outside is the big threat, and Marwin Gold seeing daylight. Magic Heights and Marwin Gold claim Words of Magic. Magic Heights on the outside, and Marwin Gold reached the line. Photo, Marwin Gold or Magic Heights. Third posse going to Words of Magic, followed by Festive Night making up many lengths. A break in proceedings, Newington Style, Tywin, followed by Reef King War. Newcastle Knight and Absolute by 1 Please Charge with Utrillo, a distant tail ender. Good finish to the 7th of the day. Marwin Gold, number 1, Leanne Henry, getting the run between Magic Heights and Words of Magic. And over the last 50 metres, the Chestnut really responded well. And it is a bobbing finish. The ground shot is a little bit tricky, the ground shot, so disregard that. The stride past the post, there's no doubt Marwin Gold has one beyond any shadow of a doubt. They don't play on that. Right on the line. They've taken it back now, the lower shot, to a seemingly right on the mirror, and that indicates
yeah, the tricky old Rosehill angle. Nothing has changed. 6-1-3. Magic Heights getting there by a whisker. Robert Thompson up. $7.220. Marwin Gold $1.70. Words of Magic $1.40. 17.60 Quinella. 32.20 Exacta. 91.90 Trifecta. Okay, here is the replay of the Group 2 Sweepstakes.
Set to go. 1,000 metres, and they're away and racing. Little Dozer missed the start on the inside. Away very fast in the early stages was Mystegic. The favourite flew out of the gates and led from 8/8 and Regal Shot. Mavourtrice is getting up into 4th placing, just behind them, followed by New Key. Bomberbill improving on the outside, 2 lengths of Point and El Rico, and then another 2 lengths to Keeper, who's got well back with Little Dozer and Natois. Through the gap, and Mystegic had crossed the field and led well. 8/8 a second the outside, followed by Mavourtrice. Regal Shot right behind them on the inside, 4th. 2 lengths to New Key, and then a Point. Bomberbill, he's battling away at the moment, trailed by Keeper, who's making some ground, and then El Rico. Up to the turn they race, and it's Mystegic for home in front. Regal Shot's getting the run on the inside. 8/8 is wider out, and then came New Key into Point. Mystegic around the turn in front of 8/8, and Regal Shot coming on the inside. Mystegic in front. Regal Shot pegging it back, and a Point down the outside. It's a Point getting up to Mystegic and Regal Shot. Mystegic fights on well. Mystegic drew away again. Mystegic has won it from Regal Shot, a Point. Bomberbill the outside, and then Keeper. 8/8 a long break to Natois, followed in by Little Dozer, Ulrico, New Key, and the last to go over the line in the race at the tail is Mavourtrice.
Not only does he have amazing natural speed, he's got a bit of ticker too. He looked to be in trouble for a few strides, but he really lifted when the chips were down. Mystegic 360 and 170, Regal Shot 230, a Point 420. They're official with correct weight. 13.10 Quinella, 21.10 Exacta, $300 the Trifecta, and Glen Boss is having a most successful Melbourne Spring Carnival. Correct weight also at Kembla Grange, Bump and Run, 350 and 180, Corelli 180, No Third Tote Pirates Yarn, 450 Quinella, 12.30 Exacta, 75.10 Trifecta, and it was very remiss of me not to acknowledge the performance of trainer Lee Curtis, who's done a terrific job with Mystegic. Okay, Bump and Run at Kembla Grange started well. He was favourite, in fact, at 350 and 180, defeating Corelli 180, No Third Tote Pirates Yarn. Now Doomben, and yeah, these are not yet official. Clay Shake, the Champagne, has been given a healthy nudge, all of which makes me extremely thirsty. Fire, Top Rater 100, and you will see the last 2 races from the Valley live on Sky Racing, I'm pleased to report. Okay, let's get to Kembla. Here's Matthew Hill.
Okay, John, thank you. Our Lady Margaret, $2.60. Kinky Miss at $3.80, second pick in the race. $6.40 for number 7, Quad Zero. Now they're moving up well. Early Bird goes up, Quad Zero, and Kinky Miss are the final 2 to load for this race number 7. Our Lady Margaret, $2.60, racing very well at the moment. Same can be said about the 4, Kinky Miss, and it's the final one to go up. They're the 2 favourites in the race. Race over the 1,200 metres, Class 3. Kinky Miss for Peter Losh. Doing a couple of circles, a little bit reluctant to approach the gates. And it'll be assisted into the stalls, but goes straight in now. Kinky Miss, the final one, goes in, and the field is now set to run. Race number 7, 1,200 metres out of Kembla Grange. Ready to go. Starter has a good line. Our Lady Margaret favourite, 240, continues to firm. And they're away. Our Lady Margaret was one of the best to begin. Scenic Review was the best to begin overall and lands 2 lengths in front early of Leora and Our Lady Margaret. Early Bird around the outside improving, followed by Kinky Miss Orlis and Quad Zero at the tail of the field. Scenic Review clears out, leads by 3 lengths after 300 from Leora and Early Bird. 2 lengths away, Kinky Miss, Our Lady Margaret, followed by Quad Zero, and 2 lengths to Orlis. Past the 800 metre mark, and Scenic Review going quickly, leads by 2.5 to Leora. Early Bird third on the inside, and they were followed by Quad Zero, who's improving around the field 3 deep. 2 further back, Our Lady Margaret fifth on the inside as they come to the corner, and then came as they swing Kinky Miss and Orlis last of all. Scenic Review comes back to them. Leora moves up on the outside with Early Bird. Quad Zero not far away, joining in out wide. Then Our Lady Margaret trying to get a run. Kinky Miss and Orlis up the centre. Scenic Review at the 250, still the leader from Early Bird. Quad Zero followed further back by Leora. Our Lady Margaret trying to get through, then Orlis down the outside with Kinky Miss. Scenic Review still in front. 100 metres to go. Early Bird in hot pursuit from Our Lady Margaret. Scenic Review stopping. Early Bird puts the big ones in, got up. Early Bird's won it from Scenic Review and Our Lady Margaret. They were followed by Orlis, Quad Zero, Leora, and the last one to clock in a terrific finish to the line, Kinky Miss.
Yes, Early Bird put in a big bound and grabbed the leader right on the line, Scenic Review. Winner to pay $10.90 and $4.60. Scenic Review to pay $2.70. Insufficient starters for a third dividend for the favourite, Our Lady Margaret. 2.83s, race 7 at Kembla. 1 to go there at 5.27. Okay, now Doomben, last race. And here is an update. Are you in this show, Eddie, or taking a shortcut to stage 3? Stars in Bars, 460. Ours, 470. Recent Epsom in Sydney. Lazagoletta, $6. Brave Prince, 41. Diamond Dane, 20. Lord Essex, $11. Weasel Will, $9.10. Defier, 290. Knocking on the door, Defier. Damien Oliver up today. A Mission, 11. Mr Bureaucrat, 13. Scratch, 12. Typhoon, 94. The Collector, 77. Lady Marion, 10. Chiron, 19. Nearly $1 million in the pool. Scratch You Tactic and Passing Shot. Michael Walker in the saddle at $71. This is the Waterford Crystal Mile, one of the important backup races on Cox Plate Day. It's a Group 2.
Outside gate, so they're all in, set to run. They're set, they're off. And Defier out reasonably on the inside. Brave Prince beat him out down there, and so too did Diamond Dane in the early part. He's looking for the lead. Lady Marion got out fast, and so too Lord Essex and the Collector. As they're about to make that turn up near the 1200, back to the tail went a Mission, and he's travelling wide. At the 1200 bend, Lady Marion cut them off and led. Lord Essex goes to second. Diamond Dane gets the cushy run third the inside, with the Collector going forward wide out. Lazagoletta gets into a good place. Mr Bureaucrat a length away behind him, and then came Defier, Brave Prince. Typhoon travelling 3 or 4 wide with Weasel Will on his inside, 1.5 Chiron. He's followed then by Passing Shot, a Mission, and the Epsom winner Final Fantasy brought up the rear. In the run to the turn at the 800, Lady Marion from Lord Essex, the Collector 3 wide. Diamond Dane right behind them. He's in 4th placing on the inside of Lazagoletta, and Mr Bureaucrat trapped wide. Going deeper still as Typhoon. He's never been on the track. Then came Weasel Will, Brave Prince, and over on the inside Defy. He's in an awkward place, the favourite, and scrubbed along. Final Fantasy took off round the outside at the school. Passing Shot tries to go with him, and then a Mission and Chiron. They're bunched in the Waterford Crystal coming for home. Lord Essex took a slender lead. Typhoon is running on right around the outside and joining him. Back behind them, Mr Bureaucrat. Lazagoletta's getting a run on the inside, and Lady Marion's kicking back. Typhoon round the turn in front. Lazagoletta, the 99 winner, comes at him on the inside, and Weasel Will down the outside, last year's winner. Lazagoletta in front. Weasel Will coming at him. Weasel Will's coming home hard. Weasel Will grabbed the lead. Weasel Will's won it again from Lazagoletta. Typhoon third from Mr Bureaucrat. Defier flying home when it was over, and then Passing Shot, a Mission. Lady Marion, and then Chiron a break to Lord Essex, followed by Brave Prince, Final Fantasy, and then came Diamond Dane and the Collector. Weasel Will has won the race. Number 8 with a flying finish down the outside. The winner of the race last year has made it back-to-back Waterford Crystal Miles, beating La Zagaleta, who won the race in '99 and was second last year. So the form has held up tremendously, 2 years apart in this one particular race. Weasel Will beating La Zagaleta, third placing, going to number 13, Typhoon. It's been a giant of a run. He was never on the track, and he hit the lead coming around the home turn. La Zagaleta probably looked the winner here, but Weasel Will really stretching down the outside. Got a little tight with Typhoon, about 100 out here. There he ducked in just a little. Craig had to stop riding, and now when he was clear of Typhoon, he goes out after La Zagaleta and claims him right on the post. Great victory for the horse who was thrown out of the Cox Plate field on Tuesday morning. And the head on here with Weasel Will left of screen and the orange blinkers just laying in a little towards Typhoon. They certainly brushed on that occasion, but they've come apart, and then Weasel Will pulled clear. Passing Shots run a bit of a race wide out, coming home hard at the end of the event, but honours to Weasel Will, now a dual Waterford Crystal Mile winner. It's 8, 4 and 13 in the time of 1:37.3. There at the coach there with the Quinella 23.80.
Right, Greg, thanks. And one to go at Moonee Valley, a 1,200 metre sprint, which you will see live. Good old La Zagaleta with his ears flat back, run down and beaten by Weasel Will, but not disgraced. He's been a terrific money spinner for the Freedman camp, La Zagaleta. Now, Rosehill Gardens, don't forget, last race in Sydney, back to 5.15. Miss Zoe out, Power of Pegasus $12, Restless $5, 3.30 Vampire, 19 Bias Bay, 6.90 Captain Test, $10 our Eeyore, 25 Bozeman. Over to Tom Bowler 17, Osbred 23, Tyrrell 7.90, Shine Over 81, Mysterio 86. Now we're going back to Rosehill Gardens, where Joe McKinnon has one of her favourite guests. I'm not sure that he's available just yet. No, we'll just hold that for a moment. Typhoon leads them into the straight. Yellow cap, yellow blinkers. Right behind him's Mr. Bureaucrat in the yellow and black stripes. Yellow armbands, yellow cap. Now, Typhoon comes out a little, and I think Weasel Will went in a little. And Mr. Bureaucrat's progress was definitely impeded for a couple of strides. Adrian Robinson's of the opinion that it was caused by Typhoon coming out, but it did look there that the other horse went in a bit too, and contributed to some degree. Well, there is Weasel Will wearing his Waterford Crystal Mile rug for the second year. In they go now for the last Captain Test in the red-yellow seams, moving in for Larry Cassidy. Just waiting for Tyrrell to come up into line here, and they're just about ready for dispatch as we go from that view to this view. And here is Ian Craig.
One to move in here for the last of the day. 3:40 now, number 4 Vampire. In the All Cerise is Rodney Quinn, and Captain Test number 6 Larry Cassidy. Red, yellow seams and cap, and they're all in now. The red light's on. And away they go on the last of the day. Bias Bay from the inside first out. Our Eeyore jumped nicely. So did Vampire and Restless. Mysterio wider out. And then a length gap to Bozeman from Shine Over, Captain Test. And then Power of Pegasus, Tyrrell, followed by Tom Bowler, and dropping out last Osbred. The grey Our Eeyore is a clear-cut leader as they travel 400 metres, a length and a half the favourite Vampire. Restless over on the inside third from Mysterio, then Bozeman around Bias Bay. Length and a half to Shine Over. Captain Test is on his inside. 2 to Power of Pegasus, a length and a half to Tyrrell, 2 Tom Bowler, and a half hits outside as Osbred as they string out a little going down the back straight. And the leader is Our Eeyore, a length and a half Vampire staying right in touch with the grey. Restless third and fourth Mysterio. Bias Bay next by the 1200. Bozeman is outside. The next pair of Captain Test parked on the inside of a Shine Over, and then comes another 2 away. Power of Pegasus, Tyrrell's on the inside. Osbred is next to last, and last of all now Tom Tom Bowler. Back a dozen lengths from Our Eeyore, who goes to the side of the 900. Leading 3/4 Vampire, 1.5 to Restless, a half Mysterio. Bowsman working around them, 3 deep and 4 wide. Shine Over. Bias Bay by the inside at the 800 marker. Captain Test to the outside to make ground, valuable ground too. Endeavouring to follow Captain Test is Power of Pegasus from Tyrrell. Osbred second last, and Old Tom Bowler at the tail of the field. At the 500 coming down to the corner in the last here at the Gardens. And Our Eeyore a length on Vampire as they swing now. A length and a half to Bowsman third. Captain Test is fourth, and Restless is looking for the run through. Setting sail for the judge. Vampire ranged up on the outside to hit the lead, not for long. Captain Test got him, and coming down to the 220, the heavily back Captain Test put more than a length. Vampire, Power of Pegasus into third, and Restless getting a run through now. Captain Test is the leader. Power of Pegasus trying doggedly, but it will be in vain, and Captain Test lands some big bets. Captain Test from Power of Pegasus, Vampire, fourth Restless, and then Tom Bowler, Bias Bay with Our Eeyore, Bowsman, Tyrrell, good margin, Osbred, Mysterio, and last to complete the course, Shine Over.
Well, that son of De Hare has a good record. 7 wins from 16 starts and a change of luck on the Sydney tracks for Johnny Morrish. 420, 180, 290 and 180 Vampire. Here's Hilton with jockey Darren Holland.
How big a run was it last start?
It was a very... I was really struggling to get on the flight at 6:30. Good on you guys.
Yeah, we missed the actual announcement. Protest dismissed. It was 4th against 3rd on the Waterford Crystal Mile. Mr. Bureaucrat against the 3rd place getter, which was Typhoon. Dismissed. I reckon Des Gleeson and his panel of stewards will sleep well tonight. Okay, a faceless man. Here's Joe McKinnon at Rosehill Gardens.
Yeah, it's time to wrap up proceedings.
Favourite Smartly Evident.